Hello everyone and sunny greetings from the Lausitzring. It is race day 2 and we're excited to be here. Yesterday we already saw a very exciting race indeed. Of course at this point in time it's all about the championship title, and it was bad luck for the championship leader René Rast because he could not end the race due to a technical problem, and that means he could not collect points. Even the better for Nico Müller, who is 2 in the standings, and he managed to win the race, and now it's only 14 points difference. So today we're expecting a very, very hot battle, especially between these two, between René Rast and Nico Müller. René is already seated in the car. It's about to get started because, of course, we're excited. So let's get qualifying. Here's your commentator.
Thanks so much. A very good morning to you. Welcome once again to the Lausitzring. 4.570 kilometers in the sunshine here as we look at Marco Wittmann, who is about to head out for qualifying. René Rast, as you can see, already on his way down the pit lane. 2014, 2016 championship years for Marco Wittmann in the DTM. Could 2019 be added to that? Well, he's certainly doing the chasing in the Drivers' Championship. He's currently P3 on 159 points. Of course, he was advantaged by the fact that, as Verena had indicated, René Rast did not finish the race yesterday. Crucially, in qualifying P1, 2 and 3, you get points awarded for first, second and third in qualifying. 3 points for P1, 2 points for P2, 1 point for P3. So we're looking at the RMG team driver, Bruno Spengler, Stefan Reinhold, the chief, and here's Danny Juncadella, Aston Martin
9,
driver.
8, 7, 6, 5,
driving
4,
for the R Motorsport
3,
team, finished P12
2,
yesterday.
1. Go, go, go.
And Danny Juncadella on his way out of the garage for R Motorsport Aston Martin. So short, sharp qualifying session, just 20 minutes then for the drivers to set the grid for the race to come this afternoon. 55 minutes plus 1 lap of race action. But before that, 20 minutes of qualifying fun to come. And there you can see all the cars now heading that queue, waiting to get out on track. Joel Eriksson heading the pack ahead of Sheldon van der Linde, and good number of spectators already here at the Lausitzring to enjoy the race action in utterly perfect weather conditions. There is Paul de Resta, who finished P13 yesterday, DTM champion back in 2010. And Paul de Resta now, of course, driving for the R Motorsport Aston Martin concern. And Paul de Resta then anxiously waiting inside the garage. The two AB Sportsline drivers, the team chief, Thomas Biermeier, looks after both Nico Müller and Robin Freins. And it's Nico Müller that we focus in on now. Of course, he broke his duck here at the Lausitzring by taking the win yesterday. He'd never even had a podium here at the Lausitzring, let alone a race win, and as you can see, has taken some 9 podiums in the current DTM season, which is why he is P2 in the points and just 14 points behind the championship leader, René Rast. Rudo Dietrich then, BMW Motorsport Head of Vehicle Development, looks on then and looks at his driver, Philipp Eng, for BMW Team RMR. Philipp Eng yesterday finishing P5.
Make enough gap from Timo in the sector 1 in the outlap.
And as always, interesting to listen to the conversation between engineer and driver. So Thomas Biermeier there from AB Sportsline. The result he had and the team had yesterday, taking P1 and P2 with Nico Müller P1 and Robin Freins P2, both Audi AB Sportsline drivers. Nico there contemplating what he's got to do in qualifying, and contemplation will be what René Rast is thinking about as well, the Audi Sport Team Rosberg driver. Arno Zensen, his team principal. Technical fault. We understand a sensor issue with René Rast's car during the race yesterday, which caused him the problems. The team will have worked very hard overnight to ensure that that problem does not manifest itself today. I was having a conversation with Jamie Green yesterday, 3-time winner here at the Lausitzring. Of course, he got penalised yesterday for an unsafe release, and he didn't get a very good start either. And I inquired of Jamie.
Like the Aston might go out straight away, so we could maybe wait a second. You can fire up and wait.
As I say, I inquired of Jamie why the start was so poor, and he said, you know what, Dave, it was my fault. I was just overcautious. I was very conscious of creeping, and then they held the red lights for what I considered to be a long time, and then I just got some wheel spin, and that was it. The start was ruined. So the green light comes on then for 20 minutes of qualifying, and Joel Eriksson makes his way out onto the track then. 14 turns, 8 of them left, 6 of them right-handers. Here's Sheldon van der Linde. Then we find Timo Glock is the next to follow out of the pit lane. Here comes Philipp Eng then, BMWs. 4 of them so far down the pit lane and making their way out on track ahead of the championship leader who comes into picture now, René Rast in the white and red car. Then it's Mike Rockenfeller. Mike with a final burst towards the end of the race yesterday, taking that final podium place, taking P3. And from the splitter cam on, Jake Dennis is our Motorsport Aston Martin. He makes his way down the pit lane as well with a duo of his teammates ahead of him. I can see from the corner of my eye, from our vantage point high in the main grandstand here at the Lausitzring, that Nico Müller has made his way out of the pit lane. Dr. Florian Kamelger, the team principal of our Motorsport. And we get the qualifying session underway then. A very important race to come this afternoon. The 500th DTM race will be contested this afternoon. What an anniversary. So there goes Marco Wittmann, who will perhaps be a little disappointed that he couldn't make more of the race yesterday. He finished P4, valuable points for him, and he closed the gap to René Rast, and also will have felt that maybe if it had achieved more, obviously that gap would have been reduced still further, but it was what it was, and towards the end of the race he was powerless really to prevent Mike Rockenfeller coming past him. Already the grandstand filling up then ahead of the race action to come this afternoon. As soon as we get some meaningful times on the board, we will bring those to you. As most drivers, as you can see, are on an out lap, and this is Joel Eriksson then, who's completed an out lap. Here comes Sheldon van der Linde and Timo Glock furiously weaving from side to side to generate the temperature into the tyres, and so too René Rast then, as they make their way down the start-finish straight and then into turn number 1. Always a pinch point, and that's exactly where René Rast is now, through turn number 1. This is turn number 2 coming up, the right-hander, then quickly into turn number 3, left-hander. And then turn number 4. The statistics on the right-hand side tell the story of René Rast's success as he makes his way out of turn 5 now and onto an ex-oval part of the track here. This is at turn 14. We're on board with Jake Dennis then as he pummels this our Motorsport Aston Martin Vantage DTM car again, weaving from side to side, generating temperature into those Hankook tyres. And now down through the gearbox and contemplates turn number 1. Perfect entry, perfect exit for Jake Dennis then. Not too much curb through turns 2 and 3. This is Jake Dennis we're on board with here. The abrasive tarmac here at the Lausitzring. And back out onto an ex-oval part of the circuit now. He'll give it an absolute footfall heading up towards turn number 6. Equal fastest part of the circuit here, and Jake continuing to weave from side to side up to 220 kilometers per hour before braking for turn number 6. The left-hander turns in, then the right-hander is turn number 7. Then the left-hander, which is turn number 8. It's almost a hairpin. Another blast of throttle now as he exits turn number 8 and heads down towards turn number 9. And some of the young fans here enjoying the pit view access that is enabled to all race fans here in the paddock of the DTM. So at the moment, Sheldon van der Linde is quickest with a 1:38.646. Don't buy too much into that time because there is more to come from these drivers throughout this qualifying session. So we put the clocks on René Rast and Joel Eriksson. And Sheldon van der Linde already through sector 1. By dint of the purple box you can see on the graphics underneath his name, he's set it quicker than anyone through sector 1. Rast and Eriksson PBs through sector 1, but Sheldon van der Linde for BMW is on a charge here and looks like he could set the early meaningful lap time. So Sheldon van der Linde then is about to close out sector 2, where once again he's quicker than anyone, 2.2 seconds down on his previous best time. Then Joel Eriksson also quicker than anyone through sector 2. So 1:38.646, which is not a meaningful time. Glock Rock has done PBs in Sector 1 and Sector 2, but in the early stages of running, we would expect personal bests from nearly all the drivers because, of course, it's their first times to show. Joel Eriksson now with a 1:36.537. Sheldon van der Linde with a 1:35.907. Timo Glock with a 1:36.204 is second fastest. Joel Eriksson 1:36.537. Rennie Rast with a 1:35.609 immediately goes right to the top of the chart. So we're expecting times in the 35s, but the low 35s. Track temperature is rumoured to be warmer today than it was yesterday. Certainly when it comes to the race. Jamie Green quicker than anyone through Sector 1. He had blistering pace yesterday, not only in qualifying but in the race as well, but hampered by a poor start and a drive-through penalty as well for an unsafe release during his mandatory pit stop. Really did for Jamie Green, but he's on a charge here now. This could be a new P1 time to come from Jamie Green. 1:35.609 is the target. We're looking at Loic Duval, but now we look at Jamie Green then. This is going to be a quick lap from Jamie Green. On to turn number 14 now to give it an absolute footful as he heads to break the timing beam. So can Jamie Green better Rennie Rast's 1:35.609? Well, he does. By 1.5 tenths, look, 1:35.397 from Jamie Green, and it was only a personal best through the third sector. So there is potentially more to come from Jamie Green yet. On board with Marco Wittmann now through turn number 1 into turn number 2. The two-time DTM champion, the BMW driver who's P3 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. Rennie Rast now dropped down to P3 because Nico Muller has gone P2 with a 1:35.548. Jamie Green, who of course has had 3 victories here at the Lausitzring, is quickest with a 1:35.397. So on board with Rennie Rast then, here is Philip Eng, who is in the pit lane. He's currently 11th fastest, is Philip Eng. And stops. And he will park the car up and will go again towards the end of the session. Arno Zensen looks on, and no one's setting purple sectors currently. Jamie Green's going to box this lap then and rest the car, and with a view to going out again towards the end of the session.
And a bit turning oversteer turn 1.
So a bit of turning oversteer at turn 1, he is reporting. Which, if that can be ironed out, then we could potentially see a better time than the fastest time that he has set, which is quicker than anyone with that 1:35.397. The Loic Duval car is pushed back into the garage. Loic Duval is currently 7th fastest with a 1:35.760. And there you can see Bruno Spengler, Nico Muller, Jamie Green and Marco Wittmann all coming in. The order is Green, Muller, Rast, then it's Freins, Wittmann, Fittipaldi, Duval, van der Linde, Rocky, Mike Rockefeller, that is, and Jonathan Aberdeen, the top 10. And we've got 11.5 minutes of the session remaining. All the data being analysed and looked at as Ernst Moser, the team principal of Audi Sport Team Phoenix, who of course engineer and drive the Mike Rockefeller car, looks at all the data and makes plenty of notes.
On the beginning of the first push. So if we can help a bit with front warm-up, I think would be good. Generally, tiny bit on the understeer side still in turn 9. So, yeah, I wouldn't change the wing or anything, to be honest, but if we can help the front a little bit, I think would be good. Copy that.
So Nico Muller feeding back critical information then to make the car even better than it is currently. Thus far, it's been good enough for P2. And Rennie Rast, as his car is pushed back into the garage, his 1:35.609 is currently good enough for P3 on the grid. So Rennie Rast, who had a disaster yesterday in the race, I mean, he did a very good job in qualifying, but then the sensor issues during the course of the race meant that he didn't finish the race, and therefore, as he said, points utterly thrown away in terms of his championship chase. Arno Zensen is the team chief then, the year of founding of the Audi Sport Team Rosberg back in 1994. And in the team standings, they sit on 273 points. The two drivers, Rennie Rast and this man, Jamie Green. And Jamie Green is the quickest man at the moment with a 1:35.397. And very unusually, here at this 4.570 kilometer Lausitzring track, we have not one car on the track. All the drivers have come in. And in replay then, this was the scene as the cars along the bumps and turns of the Lausitzring circuit. So fantastic shots then around the Marco Wittmann BMW. Currently fifth fastest with a 1:35.708. This is how close it is in the DTM. The top 8 drivers are all in the 1:35s. Third place in the Drivers' Championship at the moment for Marco Wittmann, 159 points. In comparison to the 2:09 that the championship leader is on, Rennie Rast. But still plenty of racing to come. So from here we go off to the Nürburgring. 2 races there and 2 races to come at the season finale at the beginning of October at Hockenheim as well. So
Copy, it's working again. Can you do another manual lock, please? For 5-10 seconds.
Rennie Rast
Jam in the tablet.
instructed. And taking a look at all the data on the tablet on his lap then, before heading out for the...
Mean time loss for sector. Turn 1, turn 3.5.
Absolutely analysing every single section of the track and where time can be gained when you have 8 drivers all within 0.6 of each other. As we look in replay at the man that has set the fastest lap time, a 1:35.397 from Jamie Green. And he ascertained that there was just a little understeer going through turn number 1, which means if that can be dialed out, then he could be even quicker through turn number 1, and therefore perhaps even better that 1:35.397 time. This is Nico Müller, who's currently second fastest, and of course the winner of yesterday's race. Second place in the Drivers' Championship on 195 points, 14 behind the race leader, Rennie Rast. How in the space of one race everything can change. Rennie had such a very, very comfortable lead in the Drivers' Championship. All that went awry in the race yesterday. Now, I can see from our vantage point here that a couple of the Aston Martin R Motorsport cars are on their way down the pit lane as we look at Nico Müller, second fastest, 1:35.548. And all of a sudden there will be a huge queue of cars that will make their way down the pit lane and back out onto the track again for the final moments of qualifying. We have 6.5 minutes remaining of this qualifying session that will set the grid for the race to come this afternoon. And the race is a very important one, the 500th DTM race here at the Lausitzring. And there you can see the view from the pit lane as Sheldon van der Linde on his way. Timo Glock ahead of him. There's Philipp Eng right behind. Then we see the car of Danny Juncker-Deyer and Ferdinand von Habsburg, and here comes Joel Eriksson. So Philipp Eng quietly making his way out of the pit lane then. Philipp Eng banking that P5 yesterday. He was held in the pit lane so as not to incur an unsafe release penalty. And that cost him dearly in terms of the race. Certainly potentially cost him a place, maybe. And there is Marco Wittmann about to be released. Here comes Jamie Green, who is our current provisional pole setter with a 1:35.397. Here comes Marco Wittmann then, who's currently 5th fastest with a 1:35.708. So the two-time DTM champion from Fürth, just outside Nuremberg, on his way down the pit lane. And bar a few seconds, we are into the final 5 minutes of this qualifying session as Bruno Dietrich looks on then. And Marco Wittmann now is on the section of track between turn 5 and turn 6. His results at the Lausitzring, as you can see, he had one win here, as Nico Müller is currently being held. You'll recall the conversation with the engineer in terms of where Nico felt the setup of the car could be marginally improved. And we have 4.5 minutes remaining.
8 seconds to green, gap behind.
So here comes Nico Müller down the pit lane then. He, of course, took full advantage of René Rast's disaster yesterday and banked maximum points haul in the race and took the win here. And Nico Müller is going to filter out just ahead or behind Sheldon van der Linde, or will be just behind Sheldon van der Linde. And 4 minutes left to run. So, but a couple of laps is all the drivers that will get in before the end of this quali session. As always, we run the colour indicators on the left-hand side of your screen so you can see who is doing what. And if the box sections remain white, it means it's no improvement on previous better times. And at the moment, no one's going green or purple in sectors. So Nico Müller being passed there by Philipp Eng. So Philipp Eng in the number 25 BMW is currently 12th fastest. His best time, a 1:36.314. And there is Philipp weaving from side to side, generating the temperature into the Hankook tyres. Giving it absolutely everything he can. Philipp Eng, the BMW driver, of course, has taken his maiden DTM win. And Arno Zensen looks on then. René Rast trying to buy some space on the track. Rast currently third fastest, 1:35.609. Tension and anxiety, as you can see, the clock ticking down inside the garages. Philipp Eng really being very, very aggressive. So here comes Mike Rockenfeller then in the number 99 Audi, engineered by Audi Sport Team Phoenix, and here comes René Rast. So there's this lap and one more potentially that the drivers can do. And as I said, at the moment, no one is improving through sector 1, 2 or 3, which means that the times that we have at the moment may be the best times that we will see. So we run the colour blocks on René Rast then. He's about to cross the timing beam for sector 1, and it's not an improvement. As you can see, he's some 3/10 down on previous best time through sector 1. Now, he will get one more lap after this one, should he choose to take it. Mike Rockenfeller doesn't improve either. In fact, as you can see from the colour bars, no one is improving. And that has often been the case in DTM in 2019, where almost in the second part of the qualifying session, no one has improved. The best times have come in the first part of quali. Is that going to be the case again today? Well, all the indicators would suggest so. Well, Mike Rockenfeller now puts a PB, a personal best, through sector 2. Mike Rockenfeller, and so too has Timo Glock. Jonathan Aberdeen has done a personal best through sector 1, and Jonathan Aberdeen is currently 10th fastest. So here's Mike Rockenfeller then out of turn number 13 through turn 14, heads to break the timing beam then. Mike Rockenfeller, P9. He moves up one place with a 1:35.891 to go P8. René Rast stays the same, hasn't improved. It's still P3 for René Rast. Timo Glock, P8 now. 4/10 down on the lead time. Here comes Sheldon van der Linde. Don't think this is going to be an improvement for Sheldon van der Linde. No, it's not, but Jonathan Aberdeen could improve. So here comes Jonathan Aberdeen, just making his way out of the final 2 turns. Any moment now we will pick up the Audi. There's Robin Freins first of all, then it's Bruno Spengler, then Jamie Green, who doesn't improve, and Jonathan Aberdeen. We await now. And he does improve to go second fastest. With 3 personal best sectors, Jonathan Aberdeen has posted a 1:35.498 and can do another lap. So the order is Jamie Green, Jonathan Aberdeen for the independent WRT team, Nico Muller P3, Rennie Rast is P4. So here's Rast, who's not improved through Sector 1 nor Sector 2. A second row start potentially for Rennie Rast. Marco Wittmann, I think, crossed the timing line just in time to put in another lap. Sheldon van der Linde has improved through the second sector. But no one showing any purple sectors. So lots of drivers heading into the pit lane, including the Loic Duval here. Nico Muller does the same. So it's a second row start for Nico Muller. It's a front row start for Jonathan Aberdeen. And of course, pole position and 3 points for Jamie Green. And in terms of the Drivers' Championship, only one of those drivers that's vying in the top 3 in the championship is actually taking a point out of qualifying, and that's Nico Muller for his P3 place. So Nico Muller will go up to 196 points.
Quite a bit improved.
So 1:35.397 is our P1 time, and that goes to Jamie Green, who banks 3 points for his pole position. Now, the best Marco Wittmann could do is P6 with a 1:35.647. So it's Audi, 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 the top 5 places. Here it is in full. Jamie Green, our pole sitter, 1:35.397. Then it was Jonathan Aberdeen, Nico Muller, Rennie Rast, Robin Freins. Before, Marco Wittmann, the BMW driver, P6. Then it was Loic Duval, Pietro Fittipaldi, Timo Glock, Mike Rockenfeller, ahead of Sheldon van der Linde, Joel Eriksson, Philipp Eng, Bruno Spengler, Paul de Resta, Jake Dennis, Ferdinand von Habsburg, and Danny Junkerdea. So the top 3 then are Audis. Jamie Green, Jonathan Aberdeen, and Nico Muller. So we saw yesterday the pace from Jamie Green. That seems to be replicated today, certainly in qualifying. And if he can improve his start sequence, then that will be a very, very good opportunity for Jamie Green to seize yet another win here at the Lausitzring. The Audi Sport Team Rosberg driver having taken 3 victories here at this 4.5-kilometer circuit. So Jamie Green jumping out of the car. And a supreme qualifying from the WRT team with Jonathan Aberdeen to have gone P2 with that 1:35.498, just a 10th behind our pole setting time from Jamie Green. Well done, Jamie. And as I mentioned at the start of the program, points up for grabs for the top 3 in qualifying. Nico Muller is P3 with a 1:35.548. Therefore, he banks 1 point for his efforts for his second row start. Jonathan Aberdeen for Vincent Vossi's WRT team takes P2 for the grid this afternoon with a 1:35.498 and takes 2 points. And maxing his points haul from quali, Jamie Green with a 1:35.397. He is our pole sitter for this afternoon's 500th DTM race. So the top 3 in super slow-mo then. Top 11 drivers, all within 6/10 of each other. That's how close it is in the DTM. There's the Jake Dennis car. Some sparks flying off the our Motorsport Vantage DTM machine from Aston Martin. And there is the top 3, all walking away from their cars, having had their photographs taken. Jamie Green, Jonathan Aberdeen, and Nico Muller. Cooling fans being applied to the cars then, following that short, sharp qualifying session. Nico Muller then, the best he could deliver was P3. Let's hear from him.
The best he could deliver is P3, but I guess you're very excited about the P3, especially because the leader of the championship, René Rast, is one behind you. So now it's only 13 points between the two of you. So how excited are you at the moment? And it's getting hot, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to say today's P3 feels more satisfying than yesterday's one. So that is definitely an important one today again. And yeah, another little point. We take every single one, so that's good. Also tried to be smart and don't use the tires if we don't need to, and I think we made the right call there to save a bit of tires for the race. Happy for Jamie to be on pole. He's one of the guys who can do some magic stuff if they have a good day, and I think that was close to that again today, so that's cool to see. And yeah, looking forward to go racing now. I think I know how P3 feels at the start, and I will try to get a slightly better one than yesterday and fight for the win again.
You were asking and hoping for a battle yesterday, so that's what you're getting today, that's for sure. Thank you very much, Nico. Back to the commentator.
So well done, Nico. Very sensibly, as he says, just not over-stressing the tyres that he has available to give him those tyres for the race. The drivers are given 7 sets of tyres across the weekend, so they have to incorporate free practice sessions, qualifyings, and the races as well. Here comes the grid for the 500th DTM race, which Jamie Green will lead from pole position, with Jonathan Aberdeen alongside, ahead of Nico Müller and the championship leader René Rast, who are on the second row of the grid. To the third row, we find Robin Freins, and the best of the BMWs is two-time DTM champion Marco Wittmann. Then it's Loic Duval and Pietro Fittipaldi going from P7 and P8 on the grid, ahead of Timo Glock and Mike Rockefeller, who are on the fifth row. Sheldon van der Linde and Joel Eriksson go from P11 and P12. And P13 and P14 go to Philipp Eng and Bruno Spengler. Paul de Resta, the best of the R Motorsport Aston Martin cars. He has Jake Dennis alongside him, and they're both ahead of Ferdinand von Habsburg and Danny Juncadella as we cross back to the pit lane and Verena.
Wow, what an exciting qualifying here in sunny Lausitzring, and it's definitely going to get very exciting in the race, because now we're going to see an exciting battle between Nico Müller and René Rast. Only 13 points between them when we're looking at the championship battle, so it's going to be exciting. You do not want to miss it. So see you in a bit, and for now, here are the highlights of the qualifying. See you later.